Good morning, everybody. Welcome to the Lone Officer Breakfast Club. We are here on a fabulous Tuesday. We are almost at, what is it? Is it going to be 96% or 94% capacity?
We're talking about the flux capacitor again.
The flux capacitance. That's right. We are getting there, my friends. We're dwindling down the year, but we still got a lot of time left. Today is going to be absolutely epic. We have a special guest in the house, Brittany Bobbs, everybody. She's going to be here and razzle dazzle us. I'm going to give her a cheer. I pushed the wrong button. I got the right button. So that's going to be fun. Hey, man, we got Carl White back. What the heck? Carl's with us once again. He was at a wedding for his son in what is it called? The Keys?
Keys, yeah, down
the Keys.
Down in Key West. It's just gorgeous down there. If you've never been down there, but dude, it was hot. Like,
hey, hey, Carl, you won't believe this. It's snowing sideways. I'm looking out. I'm in Houston, Texas, and it's snowing sideways.
Dude, it was 84 degrees on Sunday down in the Keys, and it was like, I cannot wait to go back to where it's like, 70, here at home. So it was, but if you've never been there, it's a really, 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 really cool place. And we were there. We were there on Martin Luther King Day. So free at last, free at last. Yeah, love that guy.
Yeah.
Hey,
hey, Carl.
Just to be clear, it's sunny and 7 degrees here. So, you can choke on all that sunshine you're shoveling.
Yeah, but see here, but see the problem here, Jerry, is your beer gets warm. So your beer gets warm.
My beer doesn't get warm.
And your beer
pros and cons.
Yeah.
Well, my coffee doesn't stay hot, so
you got me. Yeah, but hot coffee when it's 87 degrees, it's no good.
No. I didn't say 87. I said 7.
7. Yeah, I hear you.
I looked down at my screen. I was going to pull up the weather and screenshot it to you, and it says sunny. 7F.
There's people chiming in. We're Wisconsin, -7. Maryville, Indiana, -7. Wow. What were you, Jen? What were you this morning?
-3.
-3.
Yeah.
Is there a big cold blast or something?
There is, man. Hey, well, Houston's
polar
snowing,
vortex.
so we are snowing. We never.
It's snowing in Houston.
It's literally snowing sideways outside my window right now, with about an inch already of snow, and it predicted like 5 inches.
Oh, geez.
Yeah.
I
the kids are out for a snow day today.
I literally went outside to feed the fish in the pond here, and I've literally got a pair of shorts and a t-shirt on when I did it.
Mm-hmm.
That's so cute.
Yeah. Wow.
Hey, Carl. Before we get started with Brittany, what's going on with the Lions today? What's cooking?
Hey, so what we're doing, I'm starting a series. I did a lot. I was planning on doing one thing, and I was driving home yesterday. I was in the car for 10 hours with the lovely Mrs. White, which is a wonderful way to spend the day, by the way. And I was just pondering, biggest challenge. What I think one of the biggest challenges. So Frank, you and I, and Steve, and Jen, and Kristen, and Krista. We talk to loan officers all over the nation, and not just one or two, but like literally collectively thousands, like literally. And you know what I think the number one problem is? So we say it's call reluctance.
What is it?
But that's a symptom.
What is it?
I think the problem is the imposter syndrome. I think that's the number one thing that holds people back is I'm not worthy to talk to Ryan. I'm not worthy to talk to Kelly. And even though we might not think that out loud, like our subconscious, that Frances, she's got it going on and I kind of don't, who am I? And I think that's what call reluctance comes from. If we go further up the river, it's all about imposter syndrome. And so I've got this really cool little I don't want to say worksheet, but this activity that we're going to do that helps us take a really good look. If you ever wonder, like, what do we really look like to other people? When you look in the mirror, you see yourself different than everybody else does, right? You never see yourself the same. And so I've got this really cool thing that if you want to know who you are, this thing will give you a view of you, how everybody else sees you. It's very, very interesting. So that's what we're going to be doing today on the Alliance. It can be a really, like the beginning of something really, really cool where it kind of gives you that, I don't know, breakthrough freedom kind of stuff where, you can, charge straight ahead without and push into that fear, because now you know how everybody else sees you. And so anyway, that's what we're doing on the Alliance. It's really cool. It sounds kind of funky, but
it's really cool. Yeah. I mean, that, and I think you're absolutely right, man. It's deeper, and it's not just I'm afraid to make the call. There's something deeper.
There's
you know what I mean? And that's what we have to.
Frank, if I was giving away $100 bills,
I'd
have zero call reluctance giving away $100 bills, because I know I've got real $100 bills and I'm giving them away, and people are going to be better off when they answer the phone. And frankly, if somebody says no, I think to myself, that guy's losing out.
like,
That lady has no idea what she just said no to. And I think to be able to have that same feel about ourselves, that we are the $100 or the $1,000 or the $1 million bill. Like, how do you get that view? And anyway, you'll see. For my Alliance members, you'll see today. I think you'll like it.
Okay, cool. Hey, so Tanya, you got your hand up. Can you be real quick for us? Because we want to get to Brittany right away. What you got?
Yeah, mine was just that I do get that a lot by their response, because when I call, I feel like they see me as young, new in the business. And, because I hear all the time, well, I've been doing this forever. So I often get that feeling and belief in myself, but I'm older than I look. And I feel like they just think I'm new in the business when I'm approaching it this way. So that belief is easily to cling to and to overcome that. So I'm interested.
And Tanya, not just if you're new in the business, but like people have been in it for even 20 years.
Oh, yeah.
They feel like they've been fooling everybody for the last 20 years. If they only really knew what I was really like, they wouldn't, not that I'm a bad person. I just don't know I don't know what I'm talking about, kind of thing, like somebody else knows more than I do. They're going to ask questions I don't know. And like, how do you overcome all that? So anyway, good to see you, Tanya.
It's hard. Okay, thanks.
Thanks, Tanya. Hey, before we bring on Brittany, I got a question to ask you guys in the chat. Like, how would closing 22 deals this month feel to you? That's what I want to know. Like, would that be a good thing? How would you like? Raise a hands. Yes. Would you love that? Would that be great? Yeah, like life changing, amazing, huge.
What's
yes.
one thing when you're and let's put a number to it. So and we don't talk bips here or how much we get. We just use this hypothetical $3,000 per loan.
Yeah.
So $3,000 times 22 loans would be what? $66,000.
That's what it would be.
What would be different for you today if this month you made $66,000? Wait, and next month, 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 what would be different?
There you go.
What would you do?
Put that in the chat. And I think we're going to bring up our guest, and our guest is doing that this month. So let's hear from her. So it's time for our Mortgage Marketing Animal and Freedom Club members Spotlight. Please welcome today's guest. Yes, Brittany Bobbs, everyone. I want to make sure we know who you are. That's why I'm spotlighting. You won't stay spotlighted. Don't worry. But I just want to make sure everybody can see. This is Brittany. And Brittany is just kicking butt right now. And we wanted to have her on. She graciously agreed to, show up and just chat with us about, how she's doing it and what's happening and what's moving the needle. So, Steve, I'd like to hand this over to you since you're working with Brittany in the Alliance, and and because you've got to know her.
Brittany, by the way, how'd you like the walk-up music? Isn't that not that kind of sets the tone for you? So
I was like, whoa. Yeah.
Well, excited to have Brittany this morning. So just to put some results out there, last year in 2024 funded around 180 units for 68 million. This month is funding 22 units, right at 7.5 million. And
in January.
Yeah, in January, which is supposed to be a quote unquote slow month or slow start.
But it's not fair. She's located down in Orlando. Where are you at again, Brittany?
I'm in Baltimore. It's 9 degrees.
Right.
Yeah.
It's cold up there.
Yeah. And so Brittany's a part of the Alliance. We're in week 8, but we've been friends for a while. And so Brittany, hey, just for everybody who may or may not know you, tell us a little bit about your story, how you got started, how long you've been originating. Give us some background.
So I actually got started in the business in 2005. This will be my 20th year, which is crazy when I think about it. But anyway, my career started in operations. So really what I did is, it was 2005, so it was the Wild West. So I copied packages for like 2 weeks. From there, really in my career, I did everything in operations. So I did funding, post-closing, closing, processing, underwriting, processing, managing. Finally, in 2018. It was the end of 2018. I decided that I didn't want to do that anymore. I actually got into the business in '05 to originate, and I was going to learn the business first. So about, 13 years later, I'm like, okay, I think I figured it out. So I'm like, oh. So I was managing a team of processors at that point. And I was like, you know what? I'm just finally going to do it. I'm just going to originate. I was terrified because at that point I was managing 20 people, 20 plus people, had a good salary. Everything was steady for me. I was comfortable. So I was going from that to commission. And that's terrifying. So I went in the end of 2018, I got my license and I started originating full-time in 2019.
Hey, Brittany, let me ask you a question. So obviously at 22 loans, there's zero chance you can be, I would think, and correct me if I'm wrong, like there's zero chance that you're deep in every single file and still collecting all the pay stubs and everything. Is that correct? Like somebody's helping you do that part?
Oh, yes, that's correct. Yeah.
Was that hard to turn over the being in control? Steve has he has a lot of great sayings. And one of the things that he's taught me, he said, Carl, you can have control or you can have growth, but you can't have both. And I never really thought about that until he told me that. It's absolutely brilliant. Don't tell him I said that though, but it is, it's absolutely brilliant. So what was that like when you were the one that was in control? You're deep in the files because that's what you did. And then the next day you're not. Like what was that like turning that over and feeling?
Oh my gosh, that's such a good question. So that was brutal for me. That was very difficult because I am a type A person and I like to be in control and I like to watch all the details and manage every detail. So I think I had gotten to, well, I don't think, I know I had gotten to the point where I couldn't do it anymore. So 19, I did 9 million, 20, I did 42 million, 21, I did 66 million. In 2021, I closed those loans by myself with no help. Wow. I worked so much. It was, I don't want to say terrible because that sounds so ungrateful because I'm very grateful for what I had, but it was very challenging. I was so stressed out and I got to the point where I want to grow. I really want to keep growing. I don't want to get stuck here, but I cannot do even one more loan by myself. I have to give it up. Giving it up, and I told this to Steve, was one of the hardest things I've ever done. And it's taken me way longer than I'm proud to say to do. But I had to make the choice of I can either stay where I am and just want to rip my hair out every day and, scream, just cry. And like, I was like emotionally like a basket case because I was just so stressed out. And so I was just like, I could either stay here or I can make a change. So I decided I just had to like give up, and it was very difficult.
What was so you're already making a good living, right? In the in the back end side, right? The processing and the process side. So you're already making a good living there. What was the why that, and look at, and let's just grab 5 loans. So at 5 loans, 5 times 3, that's 15 grand a month. Hey, 15 grand a month. And I know you're like in the rural Baltimore area, not a bad living.
Yeah.
What was the why that said 5's not enough? I need to get to 22 and then move past that. Like what's the motivation?
So I think everyone's why, if they're being honest with themselves, is probably really personal. And mine is very personal and I'm happy to share it. I do not mind it at all. My why was really because of my daughter. My oldest daughter was diagnosed with autism. And I knew that it was up to me to make everything, okay for her life. And I was projecting into the future of like, what's going to happen when I'm not around anymore? Like she needs to have money when I'm not here, not just life insurance money, but she needs stability. She needs help, And so that is what initially started this drive. When it's kind of like I felt like I was backed into a corner and I was just like going to claw my way out of it. So that's kind of what started it. And then it became into something much bigger, which I told Steve the other day, is it's not just about my daughter anymore. It's about other people that I see such need in that I feel like it's my responsibility to help. So that's really why.
That's I've always thought, Steve, I've always thought,
Yeah.
just wanting a bigger boat. It's
Yeah.
cool, but that's
Yeah.
that's hard
It's
to
not
get
gonna
that
drive you.
driving. Yeah, it's hard to get that driving force. There has to be something really big. Hey, Brittany, what specific activity moves the needle for you the most?
Calls, being on the
To
phone,
who? To who?
agents. Oh, for sure. 99% of my business is with real estate agents. That's where I get most of my business.
Do you how do you look, we all know that works, right? And yet so many of us, right? And in the past, me too, kind of tried, I'll buy every widget possible not to do that activity, right?
Yep.
And none of them work. And we know that.
Nope.
Oh, I'll close one, maybe two, but not 22, right?
Right.
So is it just the why? Like, do you psych yourself up to do that, or
Oh,
like,
yes.
how do you
Oh, yes.
walk me through that?
So it's when you go through your days, to me at least, it becomes a little bit mundane, I guess, because you're just always doing the same thing. It's always the same. So at least for me, it is. It's always the same. I come in, I do the same thing. So after a while, in the beginning, it was easier for me to make my calls because, again, I was backed into a corner like a wild animal. Like, I gotta get out of here. Like, make these calls. You gotta give me business. But then over time, it becomes a little more stale. And I think that's what happens when we're in the business in general, is you start to get a little bit bored of it, a little bit over it, a little bit negative with it. For me, I pray every morning. I have to pray. I have to talk to God. It helps me to be motivated. I think about the things that I know that I'm doing this for, the people that are struggling in the world in general, like the things that resonate with me. I think about those things in the morning. I pray in the morning. And then before I get on my calls, and it sounds kind of funny, most days I don't need a whole lot of motivation outside of that. I just make my calls. This is when I start. This is when I stop. I always forward think about when I'm done and how I'm going to be happy about that I made those calls. So like if I have a time I time block. So if I set a time at 11, I'm going to start at 11. I'm going to be done at 1 or 12:30, whatever it's going to be. I think about how am I going to feel at 12:30? Because it's going to happen unless I die. Unless I die in this chair, it's going to be 12:30. So at 12:30, am I going to look back and be like, you know what? I didn't make any calls. Ugh. Fine, I'll just do double the calls tomorrow. And then I know tomorrow's going to be tough. Or at 12:30, am I going to be like, I made my calls. I'm going to go out and I'm going to eat my soup. I'm going to say hi to my kids. I'm going to come back in and I'm going to work on my files. So for me, it's like I have to sit and look at the time, and then I forward think of what's going to happen at the end of the time. When I'm done, when I hit my time, how am I going to feel? So that's kind of how I motivate myself.
Hey,
Future
Brittany,
casting.
how many calls a week are you targeting? Do you have a target
80.
number of outbound calls or agent relationship calls that you're making?
I want to make at least 80 calls a week.
Okay. 80 outbound calls.
Yes.
When you started this, when you started calling on these, and I take it it's agents. Is that what I heard you say? Like, so when you started calling on them, were these people that you knew, or did they know you, or what'd that look like?
I knew nobody. And it's funny because I was in the business for so long, but the loan officers had the relationships with the agents. I never had them.
You're in the back room. You're in the back room.
Right. Yeah. So I didn't know anybody. I went online and I just Googled, real estate agents in Baltimore. I went on this one website called Live Baltimore. I just remember it like it was yesterday. And I remember just like list of agents. And I was like, okay. And I just went through and I called all the agents. I just cold called them. I did not know anybody.
What'd you say?
So there were different things that I said.
All right, let me better question. What did you say that worked?
Great question.
That is a good question. So I think over time, there were a few different tactics or things that worked for me. But I think the thing that worked the most was calling people and just being myself and flattering them. Just saying, you know, you're doing such a great job. I know you're so busy. I really do. I know, I see what you're doing. It's amazing. But I would just love to just sit with you and talk with you and just hear how you're doing what you're doing. I know you're busy, but if you have like 30 minutes, I would just be so grateful.
You know,
And
that is Frank. That's the old.
I'm a student of success. I'd
Yeah,
love to
I
hear
think
you.
you're awesome.
Mhm.
I'd like to hear you tell me more about how awesome you are.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah. It's honor. You know, people love honor. It's
Mhm.
remarkable when you can just give them a golden star through your affirmation. Yeah.
Yeah.
And I mean that. And that's the thing, is like, it was coming from me being genuine. I genuinely wanted to talk to real estate agents. I wanted to know what they were doing because I was trying to sell. I'm like, how are you selling? How are you selling? I want to know how you're doing it. I was being genuine and wanting to know what they were doing. And I think people feel that when you're just being yourself.
Hey, Brittany, is it okay for me to ask you your daughter's first name?
Yeah. Her name's Brooklyn.
Brooklyn. So how does it feel now that when you look at Brooklyn and you know you've taken good care of her, that going forward, Brooklyn's going to be okay. Brooklyn's going to be taken care of. How does that feel as a mom to make sure to have that box checked?
Oh my gosh. There's nothing like that feeling. Nothing. And the thing, that's what would drive me so much. And it's funny that you say the imposter syndrome, because let me tell you, like I still feel that quite often when even just being asked to be on here. I kept saying to my husband, like, who am I? Do they know who they're talking to? Like, what are they talking about? Why do they want me to go on there? And my
I'm a
husband's
scared
like,
little girl sitting here. I'm a scared little boy sitting here.
yes. But that's really how it is. And like, I'll go to agent events and Thursday I have to speak in front of a bunch of probably like 50 agents. And I'm like, ooh, and I still get nervous. But then when I go out there, I'm like, this is what I got.
Yeah.
You know, I know how to do a deal. And I would tell them, like, this is what my background is in underwriting. I know what they're looking for. Like, but when you really believe in yourself, like you do have that $100 bill that you're handing them. And I really believe that they just feel it. So going back to your question, pushing through the fear of people seeing me, or the fear of me not being enough or not being able to make it, and knowing that I am providing what needs to be provided to my daughter and that things are stable now, is literally the most freeing, empowering feeling in the whole world.
Yeah. You know, we call that freedom. Yeah, good for you.
Yeah.
How about your past database? Do you get much from your past database, or is it
No.
primarily agents? Like, what is that? And do you get some loans from your past database? If so, what do you do to make that happen? And then Kelly, what light up?
Yeah, so honestly, that is a weakness of mine that in my business that I am working on. I had spent so much time going after real estate agents, and then I spent so much time just scaling. So I had 2 other kids then. So I was pregnant in 2021. I had my daughter Lily in 22, got pregnant in 23, had my son last year in 24. And so trying to scale my business has kind of like put a lot of stops in place, where I feel like I'm just like stuck in the same spot for the last few years, and it's kind of driving me insane, honestly. But now that I feel like I have scaled my business, I feel like I finally have let go of control, because it's taken me this long to like truly let go of control. That is my main focus this year. I mean, obviously I want to keep my real estate partners. That's the most important thing to me. But as far as growth, that's the thing that I'm focusing on, because right now, 98% of my business comes from real estate agents.
Yeah.
Hey, Carl, that's something we identified in the alliance, that's probably the greatest opportunity for her
I would
to
say,
grow.
I was going to say the same thing.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's 100%.
Yeah, the past database is like free money. So Kelly, did you have Miss Grant? Did you have a question, Kelly?
Oh, you're muted. There you go.
There you go.
Unmuted now?
You're good.
Yeah, we got you.
Okay, my mute symbol's still showing up. I'm learning, y'all. So hi, everyone. Hi, Brittany. Thank you for your story. It's very inspiring. So I come from that same operational background, but as I've mentioned before, I just came on here. I've been a week today into the group on phone calls. I'll try to make this super quick. The fact of knowing that operational background, having the underwriting mind, my fear, as what we talked about earlier in the call, is when you want to go and introduce yourself to the partners, my trepidation of it is I'm already thinking there's a Brittany that they're working with. There's already someone phenomenal that they're working with. I know how great I am and how great I will be for them, even if it's that one more loan. But in my head, because I'm doing calls like this, I'm thinking they already have a Brittany. What are they going to hear from me? Like, how do I continue to feel that confidence to push through making those 80 calls, like, and or walking into a bank and just trying to get some of their business that they can't do? I'm feeling like they already have a superstar. I want to be their superstar as well, but I have maybe 14 to 23 partners that I am their preferred lender, but they had a rough year, which meant I had a rough year. So I'm just trying to break through that and speak more positively in my day. I start off my day too with prayer, meditation. I work out every day. I have two rest days, Wednesdays and Sunday. And I feel like starting my day off with that clarity, it's offering me nothing but good guidance. So when I start this call for 8:30, I'm taking these tips in and I'm just trying to figure it all out, where how do I not be so fearful of what I'm thinking is already happening on the other side?
That's a great point. Brittany, what would you say to that?
I've had those thoughts before, and I still have those thoughts. Sometimes I'm like, oof, like and sometimes I know who they work with. I'm like, oof, that's a good wonder. But what I always think about is, what do I have to offer? Everybody's different. So that loan office, they might have a really good loan officer. They might, but they might not. And you know what? Even if they do have a really good loan officer, everybody is different. I sell differently than that person does. My knowledge is different than that person's is. So to me, I'm so confident in what I have to offer that I know I have something to offer them. Even if they have a great lender, I know that I have a different angle that I can work that would help them close more business. I just know it. And I feel it in my gut. And you do too. Every person is created with a gift and a talent and a skill, and you have a gift and a talent and a skill that the other lender does not have. So it's just, you're doing the agent a disservice by not telling them about you.
Okay, thank you.
Good stuff,
Yeah.
Kelly. Good to see you, Kelly.
Thank you.
You know how I always looked at that, Steve?
Yeah, tell me about that, Carl.
84% already do have a great loan officer.
Well, that's what I was, they
84%.
all have a great loan officer. So,
So
100%.
84%
Yeah.
do, right?
Yeah.
84% is working with Kelly, or they're working with Brittany, or they're
Yeah.
working with Kelly, or they're working with Mike or Mark or Francis, right? 84, but 16% aren't.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Or they've worked with somebody and the relationship is not working out.
It's fractured.
Mhm.
Something's
That's right.
something's wrong.
That's right.
And so
That's
for
right.
me, it's like, if I just add on one new agent a month,
Yep.
just one. And so
Mhm.
84% say no, but that 16% ends up being one new agent. And that agent sends me a closing a month, right? That's another on month one, I've added one more loan. Month two, now I'm two. Month 10, now 10. Month 12, now 12. 12 times
$36,000 more per year for every agent you ask.
for each agent. So each month I get a $36,000 raise.
That's right.
Because 84% already do have somebody.
That's right.
Not like Brittany. There's only one Brittany, but you know, working with somebody that they're tickled pink with. So
Right.
Hey, Brittany, just a last question. If you could go back and tell yourself something 3 years ago, what would you tell yourself? Other than buy Bitcoin.
Yes. I would tell myself to let go and to let go sooner, because after I had the growth and I started scaling, I just kept scaling, but then I'd insert myself back into it, and then I'd pull myself back, and then I'd insert myself back into it, and then I'd pull myself. And it's like that going back and forth for so long. If I hadn't done that, I know I would have grown more than this. That is the number one thing. And then if I had done that, because it leads to something else, if I had done that, I would have freed up more time to go after past clients. And then I would have gotten more business. So I just I feel like got myself in a spot where I was stuck for a little bit because I just could not get out of files. I just couldn't do it.
Mm-hmm. Good stuff. That letting go. Good stuff.
This has been pretty epic. And you're in the alliance right now with Steve.
Yes.
Right, Brittany.
Yeah.
Okay, all right. So you still like Steve? That's still
Yeah,
going.
Steve's the best.
Okay, that's good.
Well, it's only been 8 weeks. It's only been 8 weeks.
It's only been 8. Yeah, there's time. Yeah, but and I know we don't have any new alliances right now that people can jump into, but we do have
February, though.
a live event. It's if you go to mastermindretreats.com, we'll put that link into the chat. Mastermind Retreats. This is in May. I think it's 20 and 21, right? Is it May, Steve? I think it's May.
March.
March 20 and 21. But this is going to be at Carl's actual mortgage company. And a lot of what you're hearing today, if you're not part of the alliance or you haven't been part of the alliance, or maybe if you're not an MMA member, if you get to this live event, will be very, very beneficial for you, because a lot of this ground is going to be covered in great detail. And the neat thing about it is that it is going to be at Carl's mortgage office. So a lot of things that we teach and speak about is, how a team should flow and function and operate to keep you out of the business. And you're going to be at his office, so you'll actually be able to see it. So that's kind of an advantage. The only issue, guys, is there's only 45 seats. Well, actually, it's down from that. Now I think we're down to about 30 or something like that. What do you got, Carl? You were going to say something?
No, actually, it's 43 total seats, because I'm going to be in one of those seats. So
right.
40. It's in our little training room. And where this came about, it was the day before I'm doing a training for the company. And somebody said, hey, I told somebody I was doing that. I said, hey, do you mind if I come by and do an office visit and see what your team looks like, so I can copy it and go recreate it in mine? And I thought, it's a great idea. I've always talked about doing that. And frankly, in 20 years, this will be the first time I've ever done it. And so that's the idea behind it, is you can kind of, we're going to talk about what each person does on the team, and then you meet that person, and then you go, okay, now I know what, let's say, a Brittany looks like. What is an amazing loan officer? I don't mean physically, but get their vibe. And so now, if you need to go find another amazing loan officer, and go, I'm looking for somebody that, and I say sounds like, not the actual voice, but you get the idea, has the vibe of Brittany. And once you've seen it, it's a lot easier to recreate it. And so that's the idea behind it. And I'm a big fan of the live events. And I tell you why. It's what I call guaranteed consumption, that we could put this stuff online. And a lot of it is online. And you go, hey, go watch this. And you, look, I can't tell you how many courses I bought and I've never actually watched them, and they're great courses. And I love the teacher. Hey, I'll do it this weekend, and then I forget about it, and life goes on, right? And so at the event, you're sitting there. It's guaranteed consumption. So it'll be great. So mastermindretreats.com.
Mastermindretreats.com. We'll throw that link into the chat. Yeah. Again, and there's 45 total capacity, but I know like 11 or 12 have already registered, so we're down in that 30 something range. So you're going to want to get registered for that one pretty quick.
Early. It's 2 months away, but yeah, it's going to fill up. If you want to go, it'd be a good thing to do. Hey, Dave, last thing, man, and then we're out of here.
What's that?
Dave.
Oh, Dave. Yeah, go ahead, Dave. Dave Brown. You there, Dave? You there, Dave?
You might have clicked by mistake.
I won't give him the sad trombone because I'm in a generous.
Hey, Brittany, thanks so much for coming on here. Thank you
for having me.
Thanks for giving us a peek inside your little world there, and it's an honor. Hey, so what's next?
Ooh, 100 million.
There you go.
That is my goal.
Nice, wonderful,
yeah.
Wonderful.
How many units a month is that?
It's about, I have it written down right here. So I know exactly how many units I need, 24. And then I know how many apps I need, how many leads I need, how many leads I need per day. So it's 24 closings a month.
24 closings.
You're right there. You're going to get it.
I'd say that's, look, closing 22 in January is no easy feat, especially in, up north, or what I would call up north in Baltimore. So I can't wait to see what your spring looks like.
Thank you.
Awesome. Hey, Brittany, do you have a Loan Officer Breakfast Club t-shirt?
No.
Oh, yeah, you do.
Love one.
Yeah, you do. You do. Congratulations. You have one. You know what? I think I'd love to buy one, or I'd love to have Carl buy one for Brooklyn as well. Can we get a
Aw,
I
little one
think
from
that's a
Brooklyn?
great idea.
Thank you. That's so
There you
cute.
go.
I think
All
that's a
right,
great
so we'll
idea.
do that. So someone from the team will reach out to you. We do have Dion with a hand up. Did you want to say something real quick, Dion?
Yes, this is my first event here, and I'm a new mortgage loan officer, and I'm very excited. I hopped on a little late. What was it that you do with credit? Do you do credit repair with this, or and also?
Oh no, this is all origination. Yeah, you probably jumped on a little too late.
Yeah,
Mhm.
sorry about that.
No problem. Show up tomorrow at 8:30 a.m. Eastern time, and you'll get the full gist of this thing.
Thank
Unfortunately,
you,
we're at the
thank you
top of
very
the hour. We got to run, Dion.
But it's good to see you, Dion.
Thank you so
Good to see you,
much.
buddy. Good to see you. And we'll see you tomorrow morning.
Thanks for being here. Yeah. And Dave Brown, did you get your unmute thing working?
I sure did. Thanks for not saying trombone to me there.
Okay.
What does your team look like as far as people, number of originators, loan processors, assistants?
So I have one processor. I have 3 assistants.
And
So
you're the
3.
originator. So 1 originator,
Yeah.
3 assistants, 1 processor.
Yes.
And
Right.
for
Do your assistants work in the front and the back? Or like, does this one work on the front end and these 2 work on the back? Or what does that look like?
So I've changed that up 18 times, but they take it all away. So I manage the lead all the way through. From when I get the lead, I have the call, manage them all the way through, make sure they do the application. Once they do the application, my LOAs take over.
Very
Perfect.
nice.
Great system. Good
Great,
stuff.
thank you.
All right. Good, Dave. Thanks, man. Glad you got the unmute thing figured out. And also, today is Tuesday. Today is Just Ask Tuesday. Real quick, can somebody share what we do Just Ask Tuesday? Come on. Give it to me. Ryan Whitfield, I see you just dying to answer that question. So go for it. What do we do today, buddy?
Knock me out. Yeah, so today we are calling everyone involved in the pipeline. We're calling the borrowers, we're calling the sellers, we're calling the realtors, the plumber on the 4-point, you name them. And we are letting them know that we are on track for a clean and clear closing. And we are closing the convo with a 3x3. Before I let you go, do you have any friends, family, coworkers looking to buy, sell, or refi? Would love to give them the same level of service we're giving you. They say, yes, everyone in my family's trying to buy right now, and you get 20 leads the same day. It's not simple.
Very good, Ryan. Thank you, man. That's right. Just Ask Tuesday. We're updating everybody, which is the Trojan horse. Really, we're just calling to ask them if they know anybody else that needs our help. That's what we're doing. All right. So I think we can get on out of here. Thanks, guys. Thanks for joining us today on the Loan Officer Breakfast Club. Brittany Bobbs, thank you so much. That was so great. Thank you.
Thank you for having me.
You betcha. It was great. We'll be here back. We'll be back here tomorrow, guys. Same bat channel, same bat time. Show up 8:30 a.m. Eastern time tomorrow, and we'll do it all over again here on the Loan Officer Breakfast Club. You guys have a great day. We'll catch up with you then. See ya. Bye-bye.